What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Thunder Sports Pod with JT and
The stash, baby. We back again.
yes, sir. So we've got a little game for today, and it's going to be wide receiver edition. Who are you taking head to head? So I'm gonna give you a bunch of receivers, past, current, and you tell me who is better. So starting off, the first matchup. Are you ready?
Let's go.
All right. Allen Robinson versus Dante Moncrief.
Allen Robinson.
Yeah, I agree. And mind you, everybody, this is everybody in their prime. Not currently, but in their prime. Next matchup, Torrey Holt versus Reggie Wayne.
Mm, mm. I'm gonna go Torrey Holt, and the only reason I'm saying Torrey Holt is I, Peyton Manning was Reggie Wayne had Peyton Manning's whole career, so I'm gonna have to go with
Hmm.
I'm going with Torrey Holt.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you on that. I think Torrey was the better receiver overall, slightly. I don't think it's by much, but I would give the edge to Torrey Holt in that one. So, next matchup, we've got Jeremy Maclin versus Pierre Garcon.
Ooh, Pierre Garcon, I haven't heard from in a minute.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going with Pierre.
I think I'm going with Pierre as well. Very productive receiver. I think he's better overall all time than Jeremy Maclin. Maclin, don't sleep on him. He's often forgot about. Very productive player as well, but give me Pierre. Next one we got Alshon Jeffrey versus Victor Cruz, salsa
Victor
baby.
Cruz. Victor Cruz. Man had some moments. He was like Victor Cruz is like Odell before Odell. Like
Mm,
not to the same level, but like that showy wide receiver in New York. Yeah,
mhm. Both of them had crazy peaks in their prime. They were unstoppable, especially Victor Cruz. If he wouldn't have had injuries, I mean that kind of derailed his whole career. But if he could have stayed healthy, he would have been a menace for a long longevity period of the NFL. But I don't know. Let us know down below who you taking. I think I would probably go with Victor Cruz on that one. But next matchup, Doug Baldwin versus Roddy White.
Roddy White
Yeah, easy for me too. I got Roddy.
right off the bat.
Des Bryant, CeeDee Lamb. Battle of the Cowboys.
I'm gonna right now. I'm going Dez, but that may change in the years to come.
Mm. Yeah, Des Bryant was like that. Very physical wide receiver. I'm going CeeDee Lamb though. This is our first difference. I think CeeDee Lamb's a better receiver. I think in their prime, I think CeeDee Lamb is currently hitting his prime. He could probably get even better. But give me Lamb. I think he's
You
the better
think?
wide receiver.
I mean, he can only get so much better. Like last year, he was like a top three wide receiver, so
Yeah,
like he can only get so much better.
yeah. I mean, we'll have to wait and see. I think CeeDee Lamb is better though. And in their primes, I would take CD.
First disagreement. Kind of was a cowboy.
Yeah, buddy. Next matchup, Brandon Marshall versus Andre Johnson. I've got Andre in this one.
Andre easy.
Yeah. Kenny Britt versus Emmanuel
Emmanuel
Sanders.
Sanders.
Really? Okay. I'm honestly, I was going with Emmanuel Sanders as well. I think Kenny Britt was a very consistent player, though. I would go Emmanuel. Santana Moss versus Terry McLaurin,
Santana
the
Moss.
Redskins.
Santana Moss.
Yeah, I'm going with Santana as well.
Scary Terry's not bad, but like Santana Moss was different.
Yeah, people forget about these players, man. Next matchup. This one's a good one. Deshaun Jackson, Stephon Diggs.
I'm gonna say Diggs, but Jackson did a lot of stuff besides receiving, like returns and stuff. So, but I will.
Mhm.
I'll go Diggs as a wide receiver on this.
I think I'm in disagreement with you right now.
Oh,
I would take
you took the
Djax.
old head and I didn't.
Yep,
What?
yep. Djax. This the speed, and he was consistent his whole career, putting up crazy numbers. In their peak, you could argue that Diggs may have been slightly better. Um, but I've got to go Djax. I'm going with Sean Jackson on this one. Let me know down below. What do you guys think about that one? Mario Manningham versus T. Higgins.
T Higgins. T Higgins is basically a number one wide receiver on a franchise tag to be number two.
Yeah,
So yeah, T
I'm going.
Higgins.
Yeah, I'm going T as well. Physical receiver, great after the catch. I think he's better overall. Mario Manningham, though, very slept on player, productive as well. Next matchup: Dwayne Bowe versus Sammy Watkins. I know my answer.
Sammy Watkins was not what people thought he was going to be, but he's had moments where he was really good.
hmm I'm going Dwayne Bowe, bro. I think it's
Yeah.
pretty easy. I think it's pretty easy.
I like
Both
I
Kansas City.
remember he was on my fantasy team one year and balled out. When he was in Kansas City, I had him on my fantasy. He balled out like game 2 and like had like
Mhm.
25, 27 points. I was like, "All right."
Yeah, exactly. I've got another Stephon Diggs matchup for you. Stephon Diggs or Cooper Cup.
Ooh.
A little bit
Hmm.
more modern day.
So Cooper Cup's hurt a lot. That was my big thing with Cooper Cup. He's hurt right. Like he was hurt. He'd end up having a good year last year,
Mhm.
but injuries are a factor for me. But then if you take into consideration, he won Offensive Player of the Year. He won Super Bowl MVP. He's done a lot.
I mean, you got to consider their prime at the
I'm
best
going
of
with
their
Cup.
abilities.
I think I'm gonna go.
Huh?
I think I'm gonna go with Cup. Like if they're
I'm going Cup
in
as
their
well. Yeah,
prime, I'm going with Cup.
yeah. I'm going Cooper Cup as well. Next matchup: Mike Evans versus Devontae Adams.
Mike Evans. I can't not be biased on. I'm taking Mike Evans. Mike
I
Evans has
mean,
done
Mr.
exactly what Mike Evans has done exactly what Devontae Adams has done, but he had Tom Brady for 3 years. Devontae Adams had Aaron Rodgers for a long time. So like
That's true.
Mike Evans has accomplished the same amount with less catches and had like 7 different quarterbacks. So I got
So longevity plays a factor for you.
yeah, like prime, like Devontae's prime is probably better, but consistently, Mike Evans is better.
I mean, yeah, but I'm looking at the biggest part of this is
How many Super Bowls?
dominance in their
How
prime.
many
Who am
Super
I taking?
Bowls?
I'm going.
How many Super Bowls
I'm.
Adams have? Ah,
It's a team. That's a team award, Brody.
we counting quarterbacks.
I don't know though. I think it's close. I think it's really close. I'm going Devonta
I
Adams
gotta go
though.
Mike Evans.
When has Mike Evans ever been considered a top 3 receiver in the league?
That's fair.
Devonta Adams at one time was considered the best wide receiver in the league.
Yeah, for a
Pre
year.
Jettis, pre Jamar. Yeah. So
And like I mean, if I remember, he was getting beat out by Julio and Antonio Brown during the same time period.
that's also fair. But those are the upper guys. I mean, those guys are a lot better than a lot of NFL receivers all time. So
When I look at this, when I look at wide receivers, like Mike Evans is definitely just super consistent, and he keeps it on
oh
lockdown.
oh for sure. I'm not taking that
I
away from
mean,
him at
how many
all.
touchdowns did Devontae have last year?
Fair. Look
Like,
at like you mentioned, look at his quarterback too.
I mean, that's also true. But like,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like, Mike Evans has done 1,000 yards and all these
Yeah.
touchdowns with Mike Glennon as his QB. Like,
Mhm.
there's and say what you want about Garoppolo, but Garoppolo at least like has been to a Super Bowl multiple times. I
Mhm.
mean, I gotta give him a little bit of credit on that.
Very true. We'll go ahead and move on to the next matchup. So this one is clear as day for me. In their prime, OBJ versus AJ Brown. Give me OBJ, Odell Beckham.
Prime OBJ, yeah. I mean, the prime wasn't that long, but yeah, prime, yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking OBJ on that one. DeAndre Hopkins or AJ Green. I'm going Hop on that.
Hop on that.
Jamar Chase again. AJ Brown.
Right now, AJ Brown over
I
Jamar
mean,
Chase.
currently what you see from both players. I mean, in
Yeah,
their
I'm still
primes,
going
what you
with
see.
AJ. AJ has had to split so many like catches with Devontae Smith because Devontae Smith could be a number one wide receiver in a lot of places as well.
Mhm.
Um, that's my big part with him is that's what I'm
Yeah,
looking at. Like AJ's having to split all his targets. So yeah, I would say AJ Brown over Jamar Chase right now.
I think it's close. I definitely think AJ Brown is more of a physical receiver. Uh, the more the best complete receiver out of the two guys, I think I'm giving the edge to Jamar Chase. I think he's better, in
Fair.
my opinion. But let us know down below. Moving on to the next matchup, we've got Larry Fitzgerald and Terrell Owens, T.O.
Ooh, ooh. So that's another one. That's like this is very similar to your Devontae Adams, Mike Evans kind of deal because
Mhm.
Larry Fitz is like top six in every stat category for a wide receiver.
Yeah.
So I mean, the longevity's there. Like if you throw him the ball, he's got like the best hands ever. He's has 29 tackles and 22 drop passes in his career.
Mhm.
But To prime To was absolutely on another level. So like
Insane.
when I'm looking at that, I'd have to say To, but
Mhm.
yeah, I'd have to go with To, even though Larry Fitz is like
Yeah.
top five as long with To.
I think there's no wrong answer here, but
Okay.
I agree with you. I'm going T.O. on that one. So I've got a very interesting matchup. Two of our favorites. So we got a player from my team and a player from your team. Keyshawn Johnson versus Adam Thielen.
Ooh. Okay.
I looked up the
Uh,
numbers. They're very similar all time.
Prime.
Very similar.
Adam Thielen. Uh, I'm gonna say Keyshawn, so I'm gonna go with Keyshawn on this. Not to like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I give Adam Thielen a lot of credit. Last year, he was the number one guy, and
Yeah.
he was leading that team at like average of what 32. So I'll give him a lot of credit on there. I mean, they
Mhm.
didn't really have any other options besides him. I will throw that out there, but I mean, here's the thing about Adam Thielen, he's 32-year-old wide receiver. If he's your number one, you ain't got no one else to throw to. He's not Cooper Cup, okay. So I would say that I would go Keyshawn. I think
Yeah.
Keyshawn's a better number one wide receiver, but that's not to sleep on Thielen though. I think I
Yeah.
like Thielen.
Exactly. See, I didn't grow up watching Keyshawn Johnson. I grew up watching Adam Thielen, and of course, you can watch game film, but I just feel like watching a live game of a player is it's more profound, and you can see their skill set more often,
Well, it's 100%.
and better, and it's just all around. It helps your insight towards the game and the player itself. But getting back to the topic at hand, I think Adam Thielen's slightly better all time. I might receive some backlash for that.
Probably will on that. Yeah.
But I do think he has better hands in my opinion. Keyshawn might be, quicker, fast twitch. Uh, but I don't know, man. I think I'm giving the edge to Adam Thielen on this one.
I'm gonna stick to my guns. I'm going with Keyshawn. Tell us in the
Yeah,
comments below.
there we go. All right. So again, similar numbers, surprisingly. But I think I know which receiver you're picking here before I even say it. Flexico Burris versus Wes Welker.
Ooh, that's a. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. I'm gonna say Wes Welker,
Mm.
but Plaxico Burris, if he didn't go to jail, was playing great. So,
Oh, he was going
like
crazy.
for a career stuff, and like in prime, Wes Welker was a threat. Like he was a threat, very
Hmm.
much like Julian Edelman. So
Oh yeah, they got that deceptive speed. But yeah, I would go with Wes Welker as well. I think pretty close. Um, but I mean, they're two different receivers, honestly, man. If you think about it, like Plaxico was a go up and get it type of guy, and Wes was like in the slot, and he would be like your short yardage type of go to guy. But next matchup, we got Chad Ochocinco versus Tyreek Hill.
ooh, I like that matchup. Um, so I think most people would just tell you straight up, oh, it's Tyreek. Tyreek's better.
Mhm.
Uh, I mean, if you want to say Tyreek's better, that's fine. But Chad, you can't sleep on Chad Ochocinco.
Mm-mm.
But here's my thing. I think if Tyreek retired today, he would be a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Chad Ochocinco is still not in the Hall of Fame. So
Mm.
I'm going to go with Tyreek.
Yeah. I agree. I think it's closer than what people think. I'm going with Tyrell as well, but Chad Ochocinco not to be slept on because he was elite at running routes and he was just crazy quick. So is Tyreek Hill. That's why I put them together. That's why I paired them. Very good after the catch, both of them. So I'm going Tyreek Hill on this one, but I think Ocho should be a lot closer than what people should probably say in the comments. All right, Donald Driver versus Joey Galloway.
Joey Galloway.
I'm going Driver.
Going driver, I'm going to Galloway.
Ooh, really?
You couldn't overthrow Galloway. Like that was the thing about Galloway. You could throw the
That's
ball
true.
up. He was coming. He was going to get it. Like in Seattle
Mhm.
and in Tampa, maybe that seems like a homer pick because he played for the Bucks. But like in just retrospect, like
Yeah.
he was. I think he was like 32, and before I saw anyone overthrow him. So
Mhm. We got the Green Bay Packers coming up here. I got a lot of matchups for them. Sterling Sharp versus Jordy Nelson.
Sterling Sharp.
I would agree. I'm going with Sterling as well. Jordy Nelson is a great receiver for the Packers all time, but I'm giving the edge to Sterling. Michael Thomas versus Greg Jennings. Very surprising, similar numbers.
So prime, I'm going Michael Thomas because Michael
Yeah,
Thomas was the best wide receiver in football one year. So I'm
yeah.
going Michael Thomas, even though I'm a very big fan of Michael Thomas. That's the thing that
Mhm.
people don't understand. He robbed
Yeah.
the Saints for so many years. I loved it. Like I'm sad to see him leave New Orleans.
Yeah. Uh, I'm definitely going Mike Thomas as well. Even though the career stats are pretty similar, uh, in their primes, he was more dominant. So I'm going Michael Thomas. All right, we've got Steve Largent versus Steve Smith, Senior.
I think Steve Largent's higher in the record books, if I remember correctly.
Hmm.
Uh, so I think Steve Largent's a top 10. I think on my statistics, he's a top 10 wide receiver all time. But Steve Smith was like he wasn't a big wide receiver, but like he was like a pit bull. That was the best way. Like
Yeah.
he was short, stocky, and he
Oh
he
yeah.
was so physical. So and in today's game and like well in the early 2000s stuff, I'm probably going to take Steve Smith in the prime. So
Hmm. I'm in agreement with you once again. I think Steve Smith Sr. was the better wide receiver. Just that yards after catch and like you mean the bulldog mentality he had. I mean, if we were able to witness Steve Largent back in the day, we might have a different answer. But he not to take anything away from him, but I think just overall, I think I would rather have Steve Smith.
He's a dog.
Yeah. Let's see. Next matchup, we've got Miles Austin versus Sidney Rice.
Sidney Rice.
I agree. Sidney Rice for sure. Miles Austin was a great underrated receiver though in his time with Dallas, and he was um, always a very consistent receiver. Not a lot of players can say that. Next matchup, we've got Marquise Colston versus Keenan McCardle.
Mm,
I'm going to Keenan, bro. The
yeah,
Jaguars, he was electrifying with that Jags offense back in the day. I mean, he was a speed demon. He would always go up and get it. Colston, great receiver with the Saints though.
I hate the Saints. Let's just hate the Saints.
Next matchup, Randy Moss versus Justin Jefferson.
Randy Moss.
I agree. I agree. I think we've yet to see Jefferson's prime. He's entering it, I feel like, but only time will tell. I think in the future he may be better, but we'll have to wait and see.
That's big talk. Talking about being like top 3 all time.
Oh yeah. 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 I think he has the ability to, but can he stay healthy and does he have the quarterback to throw him the ball? We'll have to wait and see. Next matchup, we have Kelvin Benjamin versus Ike Hilliard.
Kelvin Benjamin, man, a stud in college, a stud. I
Yeah,
kill you over Kelvin Benjamin, but
yeah.
man, I remember watching him. He was incredible in college. I'm hoping Keon Coleman doesn't end up like Kelvin Benjamin in the pros.
He's one Popeye's biscuit away from being a tight end. Oh, but I'm definitely going Ike as well. Kelvin Benjamin had these high expectations, and he had a couple of seasons where he was productive, but never lived up to the expectations. All right, next one. We got Rashard Perryman versus Jarius Wright.
Perryman.
Perriman, I'm going Jarius Wright on this one. Both third down. Just if you had him on your team, you were going to him. So I think if you had any of these guys, you definitely enjoyed watching them. I'm going Wright. Kendall Wright versus Will Fuller.
Will Fuller.
I'm going Will Fuller as well. People forget he was a great down the field target back in the day for Houston, and he just couldn't stay healthy, unfortunately. But I'm in agreement with you. I'm going Will Fuller. All right, next matchup. We've got Brandon Cooks versus Golden Tate.
Ooh, I feel like that's close. I feel like that's
Mhm.
close. Brandon Cooks could do what his name said,
Yeah,
but Golden Tate had some big moments.
he was a dog. He was a dog.
Prime, I'm gonna say
Prime.
Cooks for Prime.
I think I disagree. I'm going Tate, bro. I think Cooks, it's like a coin flip. I mean, honestly, if I'm being real, it's so close. This is probably the closest one so far. Um, I'm gonna go Tate. I'm sticking with my word. I'm going Tate, but that's close, man. It's really close. Next matchup, we have Nate Washington versus Tyler Boyd.
Tyler Boyd.
No way.
Boyd.
There's no way.
Boyd. No,
What?
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Dude, I'm going Nate Washington for sure. Yeah.
I had to.
People forget
I had to
that he was
throw you
such
off.
a, huh?
I had to throw you off.
Yeah, you had to throw me off, eh? But people forget how productive he was with the Titans. This was with bad quarterback play. And I mean, he was just a stud in Tennessee. And I remember watching him as a kid. I definitely think he's better than Tyler Boyd, in my opinion. But I thought you was going to be sticking with Boyd right there. I got a little nervous. But this one, this is a battle of the busts coming up, a battle of the what ifs. So, wide receivers head to head here. We got Corey Davis versus Josh Gordon.
Josh Gordon.
Gordon, yeah, I
Gordon.
agree. I'm going with
Gordon.
Gordon as well. Yeah.
Bro. Gotta go Gordon.
Just imagine if those
Wow.
suspensions never happened and he was able to stay off
For
that
something that's you're like
off the
okay
wheel.
to do now.
Yeah. Next one. We've got Laquan Treadwell versus Justin Blackman. Justin Blackman was getting so much praise coming out of college, and he just let everybody down. I'm going Blackman though, because Treadwell was even more of a bust, I feel like.
Oh my goodness.
uh,
Can I draft neither?
exactly. Yeah. Next one. Continuing with the busts. This is the last one. Marquise Lee versus Kevin White.
Marquise Lee.
Yeah, I'm going with Lee as well. Yeah. All right, we got a battle of two underrated good route runners. Deceptive speed. You get my trend. We got Braxton Berrios versus Scotty Miller.
Bro, Scotty Miller made some big plays that
Yeah.
1 year, and then he fell off right after that because he didn't have
Mm-hmm.
like the connection wasn't there. They weren't using him up like in the right like
Mm-hmm.
format. Uh I think Scotty Miller should have done more of what Debo does.
Yeah, I could see that
Like
possibly.
he's not. I'm not trying to like say he's close to like Debo. I'm just with that speed and everything just taking off. I think that
Mhm.
would have been a better format. So, but I'm gonna go with Miller for that 1 year because he was incredible.
Mm, yeah, this one's hard for me. I would probably go with Barrios, but I mean, Scotty Miller, Tom Brady loved going to him, bro. I mean, he was like just a deep shot merchant for Tom Brady. I think if he could sustain that level of play longer, I'd go him, but I don't know. I think it's pretty close. They don't have like great stats, neither one of them. I would go Barrios though. Next matchup, we've got Bernard Berrian versus James Jones.
James Jones.
Yeah, I'm going James Jones as well. All right, so we got a battle of the rookies going into year two now. Jordan Addison versus Zay Flowers.
It was kind of hard. Zay Flowers actually looked really good this year, but Addison had
Mm,
to take on a bigger role.
yeah.
Um, but Flowers was a lot more dependent on the run game, so maybe his stats weren't as good as what they need to be
Mhm.
comparatively to a team that was more of a throwing team. So Addison, I mean, Jetta went down. That was big for him to have to step up. I'd have to go with Addison on that factor.
Mhm. I agree. I think Jordan Addison right now is better, but for the potential for them to grow, I think Zay Flowers has more potential to be a better player. So 10 years down the road, I think Flowers will be the better receiver, but right now, I think Addison put up more production in year one. All right. Next matchup, I think you're going to like Demarius Thomas versus Vincent Jackson.
Fuck,
Close one, isn't it?
I want to pick Jackson, but I feel like that's really a homer pick. Yeah, I'm gonna go Jackson. I'll be the homer pick.
I like it. I think it's a respectable pick. I don't think it's a
Mike,
bad one at all, but
that was Mike
I'm
Evans'
go.
mentor.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, rest in peace to both of them. I think Demarius Thomas was the better receiver. I'd go him in his prime, but dude, both of them were some dogs on the field. So people got to respect both of their names. All right, next matchup. I've got a little bit of old head football wide receiver knowledge here. So if you guys are a little bit older audience, you are going to like these matchups.
I feel old right now.
So this is a little bit older than you.
Oh,
So Hines Ward versus
I watched
Tim
Hines Ward.
Brown. I know,
Oh,
but
Tim
this
Brown,
is
I
this
haven't
is
watched.
beginning. This is beginning
Okay.
into the trend of these older guys. Hines Ward is literally the youngest guy
Oh,
out of
okay.
everyone else.
Okay.
Out of everybody else
I'm
on
about to
next on the list,
say. I'm
Hines Ward, Tim Brown.
gonna say Hines
That's a
Ward.
tough one, isn't it?
I'm gonna say Hines Ward.
Hines Ward,
And Hines Ward was in a run. It's
yeah, that's tough. I'm going with Tim Brown. I think he did more over his career than Ward, but um, both of them excellent receivers all time. You can't take away anything from them. But yeah, either way you look at it, I don't think there's a wrong answer, honestly. But all right, we'll continue with the old wide receivers, putting some respect on their name. Are you ready?
let's go.
Do you have any predictions of some of these guys that I'll be naming for
Um, Michael Irving.
you? No, no. All right, here we go. First matchup. Lynn Swan versus Fred Bolitnikoff.
I actually don't even know who that second guy is. I'm gonna be real.
Fred Bolitnikoff, the college football wide receiver trophy, the best wide receiver in the college football. That's the award named after him.
Oh, that's a pretty big deal then.
Yeah. I'm going with Bolitnikoff. I think he was a little bit better than Lynn Swan, but both were crazy back in the day. I mean, if you look up their stats, they put up some all-time numbers, but I'm going with Fred on that one. Dude, if you didn't know this, Lynn Swan took ballerina dance classes just so he could work on his footwork and
I've heard that. I
um,
think he's the guy I've heard that
yeah,
story about.
yeah, and you could literally tell it on the field. He would just move so swiftly, just being able to rise up over defenders and catch the ball. So he's even though I picked Bolitnikoff, I put some respect on Lynn Swan. So who would you choose in that one?
I'm gonna take ballerina. I'll take Lynn Swan.
Lynn Swan. Hey, there we go. Next matchup, we got Harold Carmichael versus John Stallworth.
John Stallworth.
That he was a dog man. He was crazy back in the day, but Harold Carmichael, dude, he was like 6'8", 6'9". Literally, he would just reach and grab the ball over everybody. Um, but honestly, if we think about it, John Stallworth, he was like that. So I'm going with Stallworth. I think he was a little bit better overall all time. In their primes, we gotta mention. So I'm going with Stallworth. Next matchup, we've got Drew Pearson versus Cliff Branch.
I'm gonna go with Pearson.
Pearson, I like that. Um, Cliff Branch was considered one of the best wide receivers in the 70s and 80s. Uh, I don't know. I think that's a toss up as well. I would probably give the slight edge to Drew Pearson. But I mean, Cliff Branch was definitely a great player back in the day. I pulled your leg on this next matchup. We got Michael Irvin versus Charlie Joyner. Who do you have?
Michael Irvin.
Michael Irvin? Yeah. I'm going with Michael Irvin as well. A lot of people say Charlie was one of the toughest wide receivers back in the day, though, because he would just take a lot of hits and get right back up. Yards after catch, crazy. Um, so a lot of people need to do homework on these older wide receivers
They
because I
don't build them
think,
like they used to.
oh, huh?
They don't build them like they used to.
Yeah, exactly. They just played for the love of the game and just took these crazy hits and still were able to play. Because back then, defenses were able to play quote unquote, dirty or just tough in general. So, I mean, they didn't care what they did
Try,
to you.
try coming across the middle on Ray Lewis. I'm just saying.
Oh man! All right, so we got Chris Collinsworth versus another Harold Carmichael matchup.
Mm. I'm gonna say Collinsworth.
I'm gonna go Harold Carmichael. I'm gonna disagree with you. I think Collinsworth was a good receiver back in the day, very sure-handed, kind of annoying in the booth at times. um, but I think Harold was better overall all time. Just his ability to rise up and catch the balls over the defenders, and just I mean, he was a red zone target. He lived back there. So I would go with Harold over him. Last matchup, everybody of today's segment, we have Harold Jackson versus Ahmad Rashad.
Amasharad.
I think that one's pretty close. I looked up actually some stats on both of these guys, and back in the day, Stallworth um, was paired together with Lynn Swan, and Rashad and Sammy White actually put up better stats back in the 70s and 80s over Lynn Swan and Stallworth. So I'm going to Ahmad Rashad as well. Um, Stallworth and Lynn Swan were a crazy duo back in the day too, but I think I would choose him over Harold Jackson. But looking up some of these older receivers made you really dig deep, and I didn't know some of these guys' names if I'm being real, but I looked into them and they were pretty good. So if you guys have any thoughts about these receiver battles, let us know down below. Pick your winner, etc. So this game has been fun. I hope you've enjoyed it. It's been JT and
Stash, baby. We out.